Alright, it's that time of the year once again. We've seen not much this year, for obvious reasons. And we are here to rank everything we saw this year that came out in 2020. Plus we'll have a little bonus section at the end for things that came out before 2020. Connor, start our list off.
Alright everybody, for our first top film, we review these top to bottom because we think it's funnier that way. For our first film, top movie of the year, for our 5th annual NTMA Productions award ceremony, we'll call it that, we have The Climb.
When you get knocked down, you gotta get right back in there.
If I catch you, I'm gonna kill you.
I know, that's why I waited for the hill.
Which technically came out in like June of 2019, but it only got its wide release recently due to coronavirus. The Climb's a really good film. It's basically the story of two friends and how their relationship evolves over about a 5-year time period or something.
It's a little more than that, I think. It's
Yeah. Oh, I guess
pretty long.
Do the end, but it's a good movie. It's a pretty solid movie. It's a little art
slice of
house.
life
It's
thing.
not for everybody. It's a little slice of life, but they have a lot of impressive long shots, a lot of cool stuff in it. So there you go.
Number 2 is Tenet.
It's reversing the flow of time. Doesn't us being here now mean it never happened?
Tenet is one of the few movies that came out after everything got really bad. Yeah, Christopher Nolan insisted on it. It's finally available outside of theaters, thankfully, for most people. It's a very fun action movie with a good twist that's not too stupid.
Yeah, it's basically a James Bond movie with reverse time travel crap. So next we have Freaky.
I want my body back.
Come and get it.
This is essentially a film where Freaky Friday meets Friday the 13th. We have a killer fairly similar to Jason Voorhees who switches bodies with a girl, and she must use the magical dagger thing that he almost killed her with to switch back their bodies.
Our 4th movie is Be Water.
Now, Bruce, just look right into the camera lens right here and tell us your name.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee.
It's a documentary about the life of Bruce Lee.
It's pretty good.
It's good.
Next we have Fear City.
Shit. We're on something big. Mind-boggling.
I mean, it was psychological warfare.
Betray your brothers and you pay for it with your life.
This is the story of New York.
I never heard so many creative uses of the F word in my life.
Which is a mafia documentary talking about these 5 cartels and how they created the RICO Act to essentially be able to try all of these people as a group, and how New York cracked down on them in the mid-70s. It's a pretty fun documentary. It's available on Netflix. We did a review of this on one of our Netflix roulettes, I believe our most recent one.
I think so, yeah.
So check that out if you want.
Number 6 is The Invisible Man.
Let me help you.
You can't help me. Surprise.
It's a solid, not really horror movie, kind of, I don't know, thriller thing that uses the Invisible Man name for name recognition. It does have an Invisible Man in it, I guess.
It's very, very loosely like The Invisible Man, but not really at all.
It's a fun little thriller.
It's
fine.
by the guys who did Upgrade, which I'm sure ranked pretty highly in 2017 or 18, whenever we did that.
Yes, Leigh Whannell, who used to be one of the minds behind Saw.
We tend to like the Saw movies.
I do, anyway.
Next we have Sonic the Hedgehog.
9 million steps today.
Best superhero film of the year, apparently. Sonic the Hedgehog comes to Earth and he does Sonic the Hedgehog shit. It's kind of fun.
It's like Hop, but with Sonic.
Basically. Next is Onward.
I'm on my way, boys. Just stay out of trouble.
I saw this, Aiden didn't. It's a decent Pixar movie. It feels like it could have been done by DreamWorks or Disney. It doesn't wholly feel like a Pixar movie, but it has a fun enough plot. Tom Holland and Chris Pratt were good in it, and it was overall a pretty enjoyable experience for what it is. Not the greatest animated film, but not bad.
Number 9 is Scoob.
Here we go! If you want, you can pull over and drop us off here.
We'll walk home.
I guess our new movie is an origin story.
Every hero should have one.
I want The Rock to play me.
Never gonna happen.
It's an okay kids movie. Not much of a Scooby-Doo movie, but
Second best superhero movie of the year.
second best superhero movie of the year.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really follow the Scooby-Doo formula, but you know it's fun. Next we have Bloodshot.
That is absolutely fantastic.
The Valiant Comics franchise, come to life for the start of this amazing cinematic universe that's never getting any other entries. Paramount really wants their own superhero cinematic universe, and they shot their shot with Bloodshot. Yep. There's some cool concepts. The hero Bloodshot actually has some interesting powers and stuff. Things we don't really see on the big screen.
He's also played by Vin Weasel.
You do have the Vin Diesel Kino factor. There were fun moments, but I don't think Vin Diesel really got to unleash his full Kino side like he does in the XXX movies in the Fast and the Furious.
True.
But there was some fun stuff. Overall, it was kind of just a generic action movie shot, Michael Bay-esque, but it was fine.
Number 11 is Hubie Halloween.
You're the best person I know. That's why you're a hero.
What the heck? Help me! Not cool.
It's a Netflix original Adam Sandler movie about a mentally challenged man who pretends to be a cop on Halloween.
And his mom is a fake murderer or murdered people.
She tried to murder people?
Something like that. Then an attractive woman falls in love with him because it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, it's not great. There's definitely an ironic hilarity factor to it.
I'd probably put it in the B tier when you look at it in terms of a tier list of Adam Sandler Happy Madison movies.
I guess. I mean, it's certainly not Pixels in a good way.
Well, a lot of his... the problem is you kind of strip out a lot of the really cringy humor because a lot of it's not considered PC, where Adam Sandler's like farting while yelling the N-word or whatever he used to do on his old movies.
Yeah.
And here you kind of just have him farting while he says, "I'm a retarded person."
Yep.
It's overall okay. Next we have Bad Boys for Life.
These are like HD.
It's Bad Boys for Life. We ain't going nowhere. Cause it's Bad Boys for Life.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence come back for this action-fueled vessel. I think something like the captain died and they shoot some bad guys.
Martin Lawrence is pretty chunky because he hasn't done anything since Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence is very chunk and he's like kind of the straight man, and Will Smith is still like absolutely god tier ripped because he's an A-list actor who's been on steroids and whatever else for all this time, so he's just fine. Martin Lawrence is a fat fuck, and that's pretty much half the movie's plot.
Number 13 is Honest Thief.
4, 3, 2, 1. Ready to confess?
Which is a Liam Neeson movie that's like taken without action. It's not good.
Next we have the Impractical Jokers movie.
Guys, did you think this through?
Not really. Not really.
Impractical Jokers, the movie.
This movie is really weird because I like the show Impractical Jokers. It's usually pretty funny. And about 60% of this movie was just Impractical Jokers pranks, which were funny and good, like the show. But it was basically just the show, and I could just watch that on TV, or in this case, HBO Max. And then you have about 40 minutes of, or about an hour of probably 40 minutes of the movie is plot-based, and the plot is really fucking stupid. And just like haphazardly strung into this prank show.
It's just a bunch of skits that connect.
They essentially just rented some cinematic cameras to shoot their candid camera.
They did shoot them outside of New York, but it's still pretty much just a regular episode of the show with extended skits. It's a long episode of the show with extended skits.
Pretty much.
Number 15 is Superman Red Son.
This is a world where the strong rule. And you are the strongest of all of us.
It is only a matter of time, very little time, until all of Western Europe is absorbed, is taken by the Soviet Superman.
It's a cartoon adaptation of a comic book where Superman lands in Russia and becomes a communist instead of good boy American guy. And Batman's also Russian for some reason. That doesn't make sense to me. I guess just coincidence. It's pretty dull, yeah. There's not a lot to it.
And the comic kind of has to dumb everything, or the movies kind of always dumb shit down. You kind of are lost on the artwork of the comic book too. When
Yeah,
you're
the
watching
DC animated
shitty...
movies don't have fantastic animation. It's pretty low.
It's cheap. It's the same shit they use for the Scooby-Doo animated movies, which isn't as bad in Scooby-Doo. Because, you know, it's not like an action thing, but then you're watching, like, these action scenes between shitty-looking cartoons, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Speaking of shitty little cartoons, next we have LEGO Star Wars The Holiday Special.
Master Skywalker.
My son. I mean, these binary sons.
Unta solos?
You want to shoot first? After you.
It's a LEGO Star Wars movie, marketed as a holiday special for no reason. Basically what happens is it's a life day, and then everybody waits on the ship while Rey teleports around the timeline of Star Wars and like meets up with
people,
Obi-Wan and crap. And that's the show. It's fan servicey, so if you like Star Wars fan service, it's fine. It's a short 45 minutes, so it's not like terrible. I'm sure kids would like it. Kelly Marie Tran returns as Rose, but none of the other main cast return, which is kind of funny. But otherwise, it's pretty shit, honestly. Not gonna lie.
Number 17 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Who's having a good time?
Get ready, ladies.
It's cringy, embarrassing. Harley Quinn is a bad character in general. Ewan McGregor plays
sexual
weird.
assault homosexual.
Yeah,
it's the best way to describe it.
There's like this cringy girl power message where like all these D-list superhero women who would never get their own comic books all team up and fight rapey homosexual man.
and they're not important. Well, like they're kind of important, do like random shit, but then they just magically become superheroes. They just like cry the whole time. Like Black Canary cries the whole time, and then it turns out she's good at kung fu, and they play like fucking Shaft music because she's black. And then Huntress is an autistic person who.
And then there's
comes to the rescue.
Lesbian Mexican cop lady.
And then they made Cassandra Cain just like some pickpocket that has literally nothing to do with Cassandra Cain except the fact that she's Asian.
Yep.
Which reminds me, Wonder Woman 84.
What did you do?
You know, I'm not so keen on this one. I figure you are, but you know what? I'm ready to go.
I think we can do better.
Is another really horrible DC movie.
This video should be coming out right after our Wonder Woman 84 video, so watch that.
Yeah, watch that. Basically, Wonder Woman 84, I don't know what you can really say about it. Wonder Woman 84 is a mess. It makes little sense. Scenes are transitioned really bad. The characters are all really bad. The movie's 2.5 hours long. It's a bunch of stolen ideas, and the movie's an hour too long, and an hour and a half of this 2.5 hour movie feel like deleted scenes they added back into it for some sort of stupid extended cut to try to make this movie make sense, but you know half the scenes didn't even need to be in there anyways. Like when it switches aspect ratios and becomes a Hallmark movie because they shot it during COVID because this movie was supposed to come out around Christmas, and they're like, we already wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes of this guy's time. Why not just throw in a stupid fucking Hallmark scene? And why not put a 15-minute scene at the start of the movie where a little girl runs around and has no bearing on the plot? Because Patty Jenkins doesn't know how to make films.
Number 19 is War with Grandpa.
I think your grandpa might be a ninja. We gotta end this somehow.
Santa's dead!
Did you see that?
This movie was made like 5 years ago, produced by the Weinstein Company.
And directed and written by Grumpy Cat himself.
Directed and written by the guy who made the Grumpy Cat movie. Harvey Weinstein went to jail, so it's sat unreleased. It's a movie where Robert De Niro...
Speaking of that, random thought. Did you know Bill Cosby has an Instagram account? He's running from jail now.
Okay.
Just thought it was funny.
That was funny.
Back to it.
Robert De Niro and some kid get in a fight over a bedroom. Christopher Walken's there and rides a hoverboard and plays an Xbox, but he just mashes on a not turned on controller. It's a cringy movie made for babies, and then at the end the kid starts crying about how war kills people, and it's really awkward and bad. And yep, it's bad.
And what was the song they played at the funeral?
I like to move it, but.
They switched it.
So in our video, we talk about how Robert De Niro drops his phone in a guy's pants, and it plays "I Like to Move It," and at the funeral, he drops his phone on the body, and it falls in his pants, and he has to jerk off the body to get his phone back while it plays "I Like to Move It" from Madagascar. But then in the video on demand release, they couldn't get the licensing, so they changed it to some generic thing, like instrumental.
It's like a clear 8, but not quite. Next, number 20. There's actually the worst superhero movie of the year. We have New Mutants.
We can get out of this together.
New Mutants is an hour and 15 minutes of a bunch of teenagers with on and off accents stitched together from probably 18 hours of total footage they planned on using in the movie, but they just had no fucking idea what they were doing. And a bunch of shit just happens, and it's really boring and fucking stupid. And then for some reason, they fight a giant CGI bear and it ends. And it's never coming back and never getting a sequel, so the trilogy that was clearly set up and planned is never paid off. The story of the New Mutants starts with them in a mental asylum, shit happens that has nothing to do with anything, and it's really boring. They see scary nightmares, and then they fight a big CGI bear, and that's the end of the story. Yep. That's the movie.
That's it. That's
the movie. There's never a New Mutants 2 coming out, so don't ask. But that's not our worst movie of the year.
The worst movie of the year is Come Play. It's Slender Man, but he lives in your iPhone. Phone bad. The main character kid is autistic. Not in real life, but the character is autistic. So it's an autistic boy who gets stranger dangered by Slender Man through his iPhone.
But then Britta from Community switches places and becomes Slender Man.
Becomes a ghost mom.
And they play around and they can see each other through the iPad. Amblin Entertainment.
Good movie. Good movie. The worst movie of the year.
Yeah, so those are our rankings for this year. We do have a couple movies. Honorable mentions. We say honorable mentions because we didn't see them in 2020 or 2019. But they came out in 2019.
Yes.
And we saw them in 2020. So we're talking
They're just
about
stuff that missed last year's list.
So first we saw Uncut Gems.
You having a good time?
Yes.
This is me. This is how I win.
Pretty good movie by the Safdie brothers, starring Adam Sandler and Kevin Garnett.
KG, yep.
KG. And KG, you know it. Pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. Shot well. Interesting. Not for everyone because it's really loud. And it's not quite as good as Good Time, which is the Safdie brothers' first movie.
We had some disagreement here. Second, but also very close to Uncut Gems, is 1917.
If you don't get there in time, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them. Good luck.
It's a simple war movie about two guys who are trying to deliver a message. Incredibly shot, very fantastically shot. Long, interconnected scenes, mostly unbroken up. Obviously, there's like artificial continuation, but very, very fantastic looking movie.
Next, we have The Gentleman.
There's only one rule in this jungle. When the lion's hungry, he eats.
One of her associates at Knox.
A Guy Ritchie gangster film starring Matthew McConaughey. It's a pretty fun gangster movie. I really liked it. It was probably one of the most fun movies of 2019.
Very stylish.
Very stylish. I really like how the whole movie was framed through the conversation with the reporter. And if you missed The Gentleman in 2019, that might be one to track down on streaming or whatever. I guess I should do this last one, too.
Yep, I didn't see this last one.
The last one I saw was Cats.
Are you going to try for a different life?
A new day has begun.
I went to... See, this one's actually worth talking about. Not because Cats... Okay, here's the thing about Cats. It's a movie where they sing and they dance. The only thing that makes it notable to talk about for film people is the fact that the CGI is bad and the shot composition's pretty weak. But honestly, and Rebel Wilson's pretty bad. But there are some...
James Corden.
James Corden's bad. They picked like the two most obnoxious celebrities that no one likes, and they put him in as like a duo, which was a bad choice. But like the main girl, see, I feel bad for her because it's like one of her only movies, and she actually did a good job doing the singing and dancing. You're like, oh, she's probably thinking this is my big break. And then you got James Corden, Rebel Wilson shitting on her career. They're still gonna have a career. James Corden goes back to his talk show. Rebel Wilson gets hired like once a year to be fat, gross chick, and she embraces that.
The only scene I've seen from Cats is the cockroach scene where
that was disgusting.
A bunch of cockroach people walk on the table, and then Rebel Wilson eats them and rips off her skin, and James Corden's like rolling around kissing his own belly. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah, there's a part where James Corden falls in the trash. I was really wasted,
really
which ties into my story because so I went to this like midnight crap. I went to some stupid midnight crap with my friend. He's like, it'll be a good time, trust me. And all of the people were like theater kids, so they were like singing and dancing and they were talking, and then they would also ad-lib like it was an unfunny Mystery Science Theater 3000. And one of the guy sitting right behind me was the ultimate heckler of the movie, and he wouldn't stop like standing up and like throwing popcorn across the fucking crowd. And we're on like the top balcony because it's one of those old theaters, and he's just like jumping popcorn and like throwing shit, like screeching like Reddit terms and like massaging his neck beard and dancing and singing the songs. And there's people singing and dancing, and I was like, and it's like 2 a.m. I'm tired because I just got off work. I worked like a 9-hour shift, and my eyes are blaze red, and I'm trying to just understand what's going on. I'm trying to watch this fucking movie. And then the ending, so the movie gets to the end. Well, I got to talk about the part where I was at the bar. So I was at the bar, because this is so overpriced. I got a $20 Red Bull and vodka. That's with tip, but it was $16, and I'm like, well, now I have no choice but to tip the guy $4. And I'm stuck in line because I'm crowded. Well, here's the thing. He said, what vodka do you want? I said, whatever. So I figured he'd just grab something from the bottom shelf, but I was mistaken because he went right for the top shelf vodka. And I was like, well, I guess that's what you get. So it's like a $12 shot of vodka mixed with the $4 Red Bull or whatever. And then I tipped the guy.
Sucks.
Asshole. But while I was in line, I had a bunch of like people like crowded around me. And they were like talking over me because there was like one group of theater kids that got stuck behind me and another group in front of me, and they're like talking and singing the songs. And then one of the girls pokes me on the shoulder and says, what's your favorite part of Cats? Have you seen the musical? I was like, I've never seen the musical. My friend just wanted me to come to the movie. And they're like, well, you better get drunk for this one because it's bad. And I was like, oh, that's the intention. So then I got my big ass Red Bull and vodka and I drank the whole thing in like 5 minutes, and they gave me like I was like, can I have a water too? They gave me a Dixie cup of water, so I'm hungover halfway through this movie. This guy behind me is throwing popcorn and cracking wise, and everybody's singing. And then like the movie seems like it's over, so this is like an hour and a half in. The movie seems like it's over, and then there's like a half hour where Judy Garland's singing, and then you got the fucking girl singing, and they start crawling around like little fucking ants up this stupid hill. And they're singing, and then the old woman, fucking Whitney Houston or whatever her name is, flying up to heaven in her fucking hot air balloon so she can get reincarnated. And I'm like, okay, it's over. And Judy Garland has to say some fucking 40 fucking stanza poem about fucking wisdom and cats or something, and I can't call a cat by its third name or some shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My eyes are blaze red, and I leave the theater, and it's like 3 a.m, and my puffy eyes, and these theater kids are screeching and like they're throwing a ruckus, and they're all wasted and just yelling at the movie and clapping and screaming like it's, I don't know, it was just probably the most Reddit convention I'd ever been to. So I'm trying to leave. We get into the car, but the car's of course frozen shut because this is like January. My friend didn't have fucking heat in his car, so we sit in his car for like 3 hours while he's chain smoking fucking cigarettes. Then eventually we drove home, and it was like a 45-minute drive, but that was my experience watching Cats the movie, which honestly is probably more funny in retrospect than the whole deal. My friend bought me the ticket, thanks to him, but I honestly did pay like $40 there for a Red Bull and vodka. So, what I learned was, you know,
Jellicle Cats are Jellicle Cats.
it's a terrible movie. If you're a fan of movies, you're not gonna like it. But I've even heard from people that I know that are into theater that Cats isn't even good. I've seen videos and shit. I heard not even just like the movie, but the shit in general. And I mean, like watching the movie, was it terribly done? Not really. And besides from like the James Corden shit, with the updated CGI, it was passable. The cat effects didn't even look as bad as Wonder Woman 84, truthfully. They had a hell of a lot more to do, and probably a hell of a lot less budget. So, truth be told, I give a lot of people credit for trying on Cats. The movie's garbage.
Sounds like a profound
The songs
experience.
are garbage. Oh, that song that Jennifer Hudson sings at the end is pretty good. It's a tearjerker. I didn't cry, but I imagine it was. And that was the one part where the theater kids like shut up, except for like those few kids that were like singing all the songs along and had to sing the song too. But most of them were just yelling like, whatever. I voted for Bernie Sanders. Like, how the fuck is that funny, dude? Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Well, this has been our yearly roundup ranking, whatever
Half
else
of
it
it
is.
beat and Cats Rant.
Cats Rant.
NTMA's 5th annual yearly roundup and Cats Rant. Cats Rant.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. And then you'll put a picture of me angry.
Was it more Reddit than the furry convention we actually accidentally went to?
Yeah. The thing about the furry convention is, I consider furries their own breed. Where I felt like I was living a Reddit message board when I was at the Cats movie. I was living on r/cats. That's what it felt like. If r/cats could sing songs and not just type shit. Can you imagine being in a room full of Redditors from the board r/cats? That's what it felt like, being in the room and they're singing and dancing and making Reddit jokes.
r/theater kids.
Yeah, basically, it was pretty pathetic.
That sounds horrible.
But they're all like college theater kids. They're all drunk too. You gotta add into that. But they don't change. Like most kids I know from high school and shit change. Theater kids don't change.
It's true.
They don't change a day. They still scream and sing and act stupid as fuck.
Yep.
I don't like them.
Okay, well, thanks for watching.
And if you're a theater kid, don't take it as an offense. But if you fucking go to Cats midnight premieres and fucking sing along and dance like a... suck a dick. That's what I think. That's what I think. And honestly, Cats is not going to be picked up. It's not the fucking Room. It's not the Rocky Horror Show. This is just because it's popular to shit on. That's the only reason it has a midnight premiere. It's not gonna... No one cares about the stupid movie. No one cares about the stupid fucking Cats. It'll be forgotten.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. It's good enough. Oh, I'm a jellicle cat. I'm a jellicle cat.
Mommy, I'm a jellicle cat!